Hello, this is lecture 5 of game theory. Uh, we are gonna we from this is second week, and from the fourth lecture, we are looking at the game theory itself. There are two kinds of game theory. They are cooperative game theory and non-cooperative game theory. Cooperative game theory is assuming the people are playing in teams. So even though you don't like it, for example, you are a member of a baseball team, you don't like it, but your coach tell you to do something, you do it. Okay, something like that. So you belong to a group, and the group would act as a whole. So instead of individuals, it's more important for you to be a group. Okay. On the other hand, non-cooperative game is actually, if you have heard about, watch the movie Beautiful Mind, there is this very unique and odd professor named John Nash. He is actually a mathematician, but he is the one of the founder of game theory, and the area he founded is non-cooperative game theory, which means you are your own individual. I mean, even though you belong to a team, what you want to do is make best out of it for yourself, not for your team. Okay? So game is played by individuals and there's no binding agreement. If the coach tell you to do something, you said, what the heck? If I do that, my salary will go down. Coach does not help me. He want his own interest, so I want my own interest. So if what coach says fits me, I'll do it. But if it doesn't fit me, I'll do something else. So it's like bunch of individuals playing, acting for themselves. On the other, cooperative game theory, you put the organization and group in front of you. In modern economics, the non-cooperative game theory is the main theory. So this is the theory we are going to study in this lecture. We are not gonna touch the cooperative game theory. Like in old days, you belong to some clan, some family concept and things like that. Like Romeo and Juliet, they are in love. The fathers say, their enemies don't, date them, and so they kill themselves, kind of thing. Nowadays, who care about what father says and mother says? Who cares about family so much? So basically, I think it fits more to think that people will act non-cooperative game way. So kind of many game theorists believe the non-cooperative game explains the world better. From the non-cooperative game theory's point of view, players, because they are non-cooperative, that doesn't mean they will never cooperate each other. They will. They may cooperate each other, but only when it is better for them individually. Okay? You can fight yourself, but if you fight you're one person against 100 enemies, whatever good fighter, however good fighter you may be, your chance of winning and surviving is very slim. What you can do, you can make a group. You can make a group of like 100 friends and you fight together. And you are helping your friends so that your friends help you fighting the enemy. But that doesn't mean that you care the whole group more than you. But helping each other make your chance of surviving better and winning higher. So the non-cooperative game does not mean people never cooperate, only means they may cooperate, but they cooperate not because of the group or organization, but because of self-interest of the individual. Okay, we don't have to worry about this because we are going to deal with the non-cooperative game theory. Forget about cooperative game from this point on. Okay, in game, there are three elements. Players, strategy, and payoff. This is very important. Whenever you analyze the game, you have to think about these three elements of the game. If you cannot tell who's the player, if you cannot tell what is the strategy, if you cannot tell what is the payoff, you are not ready for the game. Who's the player? Player is the decision maker, the person or the company or whatever organization that plays it. Let me see. In rock, scissors, paper game, rock, scissors, paper. As far as I know, most of the country have this game. I don't know where it originated, but rock wins over scissor, scissor wins over paper, paper wins over rock. In Korea, 가위바위보. Somehow Koreans say scissor, rock, paper. I don't know why. So, 가위바위보. But in America, in English, rock, scissors, paper. If I play rock, scissors, paper with Professor Lee, Professor Han and Professor Lee, they are players. Okay? What about strategy? Strategy is plan of actions set by the players, or what kind of choices they have. That is strategy. Obviously, in rock, scissors, paper, I have three choices: rock, scissors, and paper. So, when I play against Professor Lee, the rock, scissors, paper game, my strategies are rock and scissors and paper. What is the payoff? Payoff is what the players get as the result of the game. In rock, scissors, paper game, there are three results. You win, you lose, or it's a tie. If I give rock, Professor Lee gives a lock, it's a tie. If I give a lock, my opponent gives a scissor, I win. If I give lock, my opponent gives paper, I lose. So, rock, scissors, paper game has players, strategies, and payoff. Of course, the player chooses strategies, make a choice, and what they have chosen, which strategy they have chosen, decides the payoff. Okay? So, if someone, for example, you meet an alien and you want some spaceman who never played or never got to know rock, scissors, paper game, but then you can explain to them what is the player, what is the strategy of rock, scissors, paper game, what is the payoff for each case, rock against rock, scissors against paper, paper against rock kind of thing, then the spaceman would understand if he is a game theorist. So this is how the game theorist describe a game. Talking about description of game. Finding out the equilibrium, as I said repeatedly, is the purpose of economics, purpose of game theory. So making predictions. For the most part of this game, we are going to do this process of finding out the equilibrium. And during this process, in the previous lecture, I told you there are so many different groups or the families of fortune telling, the palm reading, face reading, birthday, the star reading, card reading kind of thing. So in each case, we use mathematical method to solve the problem, solve the game. So finding out the equilibrium involves with some mathematical, logical, like math problem solving process. But then, please thinking about your math exam in high school. However good your math skills are, if you do not understand the game correctly, your answer can never be the correct one. Okay, that happens a lot. I happen to do very good in mathematical skills, but I read the question, I missed one sentence, then even though I calculated very well, very quickly, my answer would be wrong because I missed one sentence. So whenever you are finding out the equilibrium, which means mathematically solving the problem, understanding the game is the first most important step. If you misunderstand, the effort after that is totally useless. So describing the game is very, very, very important. Okay? Actually, this understanding and describing a game, once you have a hard training in solving game theory, like 5-6 years, then you would realize these math problems are actually easier compared to the understanding the real situation and describing the game. The strategic form and extensive form I'm going to introduce from now is the different ways of describing the game. Strategic form, or some people call it normal form. This is how we describe the rock, scissors, paper game between Tom and Bill in strategic form. So basically, strategic form is using tables. Tom choose rock, scissors, paper. Bill choose rock, scissors, paper. If it's rock against rock, the first number always means the left-hand side person. We call Tom player 1 because it's on the left-hand side. This is just promise. The left-hand side, Tom is player 1, Bill is player 2. If it's like Jane and Elizabeth, Jane is player 1, Elizabeth is player 2. If Tom choose rock, Bill choose rock, it's a tie. So Tom gets 0, Bill gets 0. If Tom chooses scissors, Bill chooses rock, who wins? Rock wins over scissors. That's why Bill gets 1 and Tom loses and gets -1. So I'm going to give number 1 for the winner, -1 for the loser. Because the higher the number, the happier the player is. So Bill and Tom is the player. Rock, scissors, paper are the strategies of each player. And this number, these 9 pairs of number are the payoffs. So this strategic form has the 3 elements of the game. Player, Tom and Bill, strategy, rock, scissors, paper for each player, and 0, 0, -1, 1, 1, -1. Paper over rock. That's why Tom wins 1, Bill loses -1. So look at the other numbers. And you will realize that this describes the rock, scissors, paper, you know. Okay? So this is what is so-called strategic form of the game of rock, scissors, paper. We have another way of describing it that is extensive form. And it's like branches of tree. So this is like decision tree, some people may say, because it looks like tree. So extensive form begins with Tom. Tom chooses rock, scissors, paper. If Tom chooses rock, Bill then chooses rock. this small R is for Bills, then it's a tie. Tom gets 0, Bill gets 0. If Tom chooses rock, Bill chooses paper, who wins? Bill. So Bill, the second number goes to Bill, 1. The loser Tom gets -1. If Tom chooses scissor and Bill chooses rock, Bill wins again. Bill gets 1. Tom, who chooses scissor and lose, get -1. So basically, this extensive form of game, the Rockster paper game, is essentially same as this strategic form. So this strategic form and this extensive form are the same thing, explaining the rock, scissors, paper game that we know. One thing I want you to notice is this. I draw this. What is this? Anyway, circle, kind of circle thing around these 3 points. This in game theory means Bill cannot tell whether Tom chooses rock, scissors, paper. So whenever the second player in extensive form game chooses something and you find out this circle, means the second player cannot see what the first player does. Actually, even though I said this extensive form and this strategic form are the same thing, there is slight difference. Essentially, in strategic form, Tom and Bill choose rock, scissors, paper simultaneously at the same time. Because they choose at the same time, they choose without having a chance to looking at each other, like rock, scissors, paper kind of thing. Okay? On the other hand, extensive form always assume that it's sequential. I mean, the world is, there's nothing simultaneous in the world. One person chooses first, the other person chooses later. So Tom chooses first rock, scissors, paper, but then because of this circle, Bill cannot see what Tom has chosen, and he chooses his rock, scissors, paper without knowing what Tom has chosen. Like this game. Tom is playing, Bill is playing. Tom is the first mover, Bill is the second mover. Basically, Tom gives rock. But then Bill face is the opposite side. So Bill has to choose rock, scissors, paper, but Bill cannot see what Tom has chosen. So Tom chooses something and Bill chooses something. That is basically what this extensive form is about. Tom chooses something, but Bill is looking at the other side, cannot see what Tom has chosen, and he makes his own choice. Then, which is more advantageous for Bill or Tom? Choosing simultaneously or choosing one by one, but the second person cannot see the first one. I don't know about you, but it seems nothing much different. Bill would never feel this extensive form is better, more profitable than the first strategic form. That's why I'm saying this strategic form and the extensive form are the same thing. So players choose simultaneously that strategic form. As I said, extensive form assumes players choose sequentially. But if the second player cannot observe the choice of the first player, actually extensive form and strategic form, they would be the same thing. Yeah, why spend so much time on explaining the simple rock, scissors, paper game? Yeah, I told you this is a game you know very well, but then describing game is not as simple matter as you might think right now. Think about this modified extensive form game. of rock, scissors, paper. This beeping sound means we have 5 minutes left. 20 minutes passed, and this course is 25. So 5 minutes more. Here, you notice there's no circle. Tom choose and Bill choose. But then, because no circle, Bill can see what Tom has chose. If Tom choose rock, Bill watch that Tom has chosen rock. What would you choose? Paper. Tom choose scissor. Bill knows that Tom has chosen scissor. What would you choose? Rock. Tom choose paper. Bill already observed that paper was chosen. What would you choose? Scissor. So it's no-brainer that if this game is being played, Bill would be always winning. Tom is hopeless. This is not the same game we watched in this strategy form rock, scissors, paper. If you ask Bill, would you play this game or this new kind of no circle modified extensive form rock, scissors, paper game, Bill would immediately choose this modified game because he will always win. Tom would choose the other way because in this game, Tom would always lose. Understand? This is a game. Tom moved first, but then Bill is facing Tom. He knows Tom has chosen what, and he plays. Okay, I wanted to say I'm kind of proud of this thing because I draw it by myself. Because of the copyright, I determined not to bring in any pictures. Everything in here is made by me. You know, I'm 52 years old guy and very bad at it and in artistic sense. But so if you can see, you think, wow, what is that horrible thing? But then I'm not saying it is pretty, but it took me 1 hour to come up with so that, you understand the meaning. The Tom moved first, Bill watch it and choose. Silly enough, Tom choose rock, Bill choose scissor. Maybe Bill is a very nice guy. But anyway, he could have chosen paper and win. The next question is, okay, what would be the strategic form of this kind of modified rock, scissors, paper game? That's a very, very complicated question. The first question you should ask yourself is, how many straight does Tom has in this modified rock, scissors, paper? Here? 1, 2, 3. What's the answer? Rock, scissors, paper. Tom has 3 strategies. What about Bill? If you answer, Bill also has 3 rock, scissors, paper. No, that's not true. Bill has more actually strategies. How many strategies Bill has? Some people say, Bill has 1 strategy. Why? Because Tom choose rock, Bill would choose paper, scissor, rock, paper, scissor. So he only has 1 strategy. That's not true. That is the winning strategy. Bill has 1 winning strategy, but that does not mean Bill has only 1 strategy. Here you have to learn the contingency concept. In this case, if I ask Bill, what would you do? Then Bill's answer should be, if Tom choose, go back here. If Tom choose rock, I'll choose paper. If Tom choose scissor, I'll choose rock. If Tom choose paper, I'll choose scissor, kind of thing. So the answer should be, if Tom choose something, that is contingency. Because Bill cannot say, I already choose paper. Because if Tom choose scissor, paper is gone. So Bill's answer should be, in this case, I will do that. In this case, I will do that. So Bill's answer is contingent on what Tom would choose. So if Tom chooses something, I will do this. Okay? So the choice of Bill should be conditional on the other player, here Tom, which I or Bill can observe. So if the second player, like Bill, observe what the other player, Tom, chose, then Bill's choice should be conditional on whatever Tom has chosen. Okay, this is a big thing. We need a lot of time to look at this. So we are going to deal with it in the next lecture 6, the final lecture of the second week. Thank you.